Well, folks, I never thought I would see the day. I am all in on AMC Stock and the AMC Stock story. I want to share with you guys here today in this video why I'm actually looking at AMC Stock as playing this from a speculative stock standpoint and why it's actually really attractive as a spec stock play. I'm looking at the stock and today I was doing a lot of research in the company. I'd been doing a little research on the DL for the last several days on AMC and just trying to figure out, is there something here? And I think there's actually quite a bit here that if you're playing this from a speculative standpoint, somebody like myself looking at it like this, I think it's actually really intriguing. And I must say, I never thought I'd see the day where Wall Street bets and we see eye to eye on a stock, but I gotta say, I actually see something here. And I've been watching this stock. I watched it go from $2 to $20. And then over the past couple of weeks, it's gone from literally $20 where it peaked out just over $20 to here today is trading at $5 and some change, okay? So let's get into this in depth. Hope you guys enjoy this as always. This is a crazy video. Don't forget to smash if you want to try to join my private stock groups linked in the description, okay? AMC. So it's about $5.50 here today, all right? I could buy this stock as early as tomorrow, okay, within 24 hours from now, okay? What I'm looking to do in this stock, as remember, I'm approaching it as kind of like more of a spec play, right? I'm looking to buy somewhere around $5, and it doesn't have to be exactly $5. It could be $5.05, $5.10, 15 cents, something like that, and get an initial $10,000 position in the stock. If it falls to $4.50, I'll buy another $10,000, and if it falls to around $4 roughly, I'll buy another $10,000 worth of AMC stock. Now, can it fall further than $4? And I think this is a big question, okay? Can it fall further than $4? Everything is possible, but I don't really see the stock going to $3.50, $3, and especially not to like $2 when it was like really down and out. And the reason being is this company has raised so much money now that it's hard for me to believe that the stock would go back down to those prices when everybody was pricing this for bankruptcy. And let me be very clear, when AMC stock was trading at around $2, this was a company that was done, okay? This was a company that looked like it was going to have to go through restructuring and have to go bankrupt, which means the stock price was going to go to zero, okay? It's hard for me to imagine that now, understanding that most people are going to be able to get the Ronavaxes March, April, May, June, and theaters can start to ramp back up in the summertime, especially leading into the fall. And when this company's already raised a ton of money, and I think a lot of these, I can say investment funds would probably loan them money as well because they understand things are coming back. It's hard for me to imagine it going, below 4 and especially anywhere even close to 2, okay? So that's kind of what I'm looking at as far as prices for buying this stock and buying more of this stock, okay? The company says it's raised about $917 million last month. If you look at its latest press release from about a week or two ago, they said they raised about $917 million last month. Now, I don't know if all $917 million is going directly to the company or that's like before fees, because I did read that they had to take like $113 million fee out of one of them. So I don't know if that's already taken out or if you take that out. But needless to say, the company's raised between $700 million and $917 million in the past, let's say 30 days, 45 days. That gives this company a ton of wiggle room to get through this whole, next few months of business still being very weak. And as the summertime comes and business hopefully starts to ramp back up, which is definitely something I see as being a very realistic possibility, this company has the funding, which is so important, to get it to that place. This is massive, okay? And this is why this stock has actually begun to get very interesting to me, because they raised all that money, unlike GameStop, which made a huge mistake for their shareholders by not raising money when that stock was 400 and something. They could have easily raised $1 billion, $2 billion. The long-term shareholders would have had a ton of money then to play with. I mean, GameStop stock crashed anyways. It went from $4.80 to $50 where it's trading at here today. It's like you might as well raise money so long-term shareholders, the ones that actually care about that stock long-term, could have benefited. They made a big mistake. AMC did not make that mistake, and that is very intelligent of them because that will help them out big time get through these next months of roughness. Let's just call it that, okay? No, it's not just that the company has raised so much money over the past month or so, but the company could likely easily raise money again, especially if the stock starts beasting. So if the stock starts moving again, next thing you know, it's at $6, $7, $8, $9, $10, and starts moving up again, the company could easily raise more money if they need to. I think they're in the financial position now to be okay. But do keep in mind, if they want to raise again, they could raise again. They could even raise at today's prices. I think it would be a pretty poor decision, because let's say you were to, the market cap right now is under $2 billion. So let's say it's $1.8 billion here today, and you raise, 10%, you get $180 million or so, but that dilutes a lot of shareholder value versus if your stock's trading at a $3 billion, $4 billion, $5 billion market cap, somewhere around there. But the company can definitely easily raise again, and especially if this stock starts beasting, okay? Now let's talk about these short ladder attacks. I've seen a lot of people talking about that. And let's talk about some big sellers. So the short ladder attacks, okay, first off, we don't know, that's a really hard thing to prove. Basically, some people are saying, like hedge funds and whatnot are just buying and selling the stock back to themselves to make it look like there's a lot of sellers in the market and things like that, okay? Those are really difficult things to prove for sure, okay? And I know, especially in my first few years of stock market investing, if a stock wasn't going right, I always wanted to blame it on something. But the fact is, what we know for sure is there are big sellers, and I'm talking non-retail sellers of GameStop, not GameStop, I don't know why I said GameStop, of AMC stock right now, okay? This is something like there's been at least a couple funds that said they were selling out of their shares for various reasons, okay? And old investors that have been in this stock over time, okay? So being that some of those folks are selling, it puts a lot of selling pressure, because some of these folks own, tens of millions of shares or 100 million shares plus. And they've publicly came out and they said they're selling. So you have a big, huge seller in the market. And then if you add on, that situation, if people want to go there, it obviously makes a situation where AMC stock has continued to go down. And even if retail buyers are buying, it's not enough buying pressure when you have massive big sellers in the market at a particular time. And some of these big sellers want to get out of AMC. It's not always the best decision. It doesn't mean like they're smarter than you, they know more than you or something like that. Like sometimes they just got to move money around for different reasons and different things, okay? No different than Cathie Wood, for instance. Cathie Wood's had to sell off Tesla stock a lot of times along the way for various different reasons. Either it was getting too big of a position, or she wanted to move some money other places, or maybe she just made a bad decision at a particular time, right? And so she would sell off some Tesla stock and sell off some Tesla stock, and obviously the stock continued to go up. So just because a big seller is selling shares doesn't always mean it's bad news. That is something important to keep in mind there, okay? So you have that whole situation. That's obviously led the stock to continue to downtrend, and we'll see if that continues if these big sellers continue to sell, okay? Now, we also have to admit there's going to be some retail shareholders that are getting shaken out in this whole situation, and hard at the moment, okay? I mean, if you think that every single person that bought AMC stock in this whole big run-up when AMC had all the publicity as well as GameStop, and everybody that bought AMC at $8 and $10 and $12 and $15 and $20, you think all those people are going to hold, you're just a little delirious. That's all I'll say about that, okay? The fact is, a lot of retail shareholders see the stock continue to go down day after day after day, and they're at a point where they just don't want to take the pain. They want to cut losses. Some people will hold through, okay? But some people are like, nope. And a lot of people, remember, a lot of people made gambling decisions around this stock. They don't even know anything about the stock market. They just like set up a Robinhood account or whatever, and they bought some AMC shares, and now they see them losing money all day, every day, and they're like, I don't even know anything about the stock market. Let me just sell. That's going on in the stock market. Everybody is not holding the stock. There's going to be retail folks that continue to sell out of this stock. Now, on the flip side, here's how things can work in reverse. If AMC stock starts to go up and up and up, what you're going to have is more retail, investors, traders, whatever you want to call them, look at the stock and like, oh, it's going up again. Let me buy. So it works, against you when it's going down, but when it's going up, it works in your favor, right? So that's something to keep in mind. Remember, there were some retail investors that were selling Tesla stock in February and March when that stock was getting absolutely trashed. Well, the whole entire market was getting trashed, right, in February and March. You can't even compare Tesla and AMC. If somebody was willing to sell Tesla at horrible prices when that stock was crashing, you think they're not going to sell AMC? You know what I mean? Just kind of like think about these things for a moment, okay? The fact is, some retail investors or traders get shaken out of stocks, and they look at it like, what am I doing in the stock? I bought at 10 because I thought it was going to 100, and now I lost 50% of my money because it's at 5, okay? Something very important to keep in mind. Now, in terms of the fundamentals of the business, other than just raising money, you know, when I look at like big movies, they still need companies like AMC and the other movie theaters. I'm just looking at it and I watched what happened with the new Wonder Woman movie and like how bad the numbers were around that. And, you know, you have everybody home and, you know, that came out right around Christmas time and like everybody, and the numbers were still really, really bad around that Wonder Woman movie. And it makes me think, I think these big movies still need the movie theaters and the hype around that and the excitement and that experience of going to the movies because you're seeing a big blockbuster movie that cost hundreds of millions of dollars to put together. I think these big movies honestly still need that. There's something about if you make a movie and you take it straight to whatever it is, I don't care if it's HBO Max or I don't care if it's Netflix or whatever it is, there's something about that that just is kind of serves and it's kind of like, oh, that must just be like some like little budget project movie or something like that. And that can work for those type of movies that are those little low, you know, budget project movies, let's call it that. But for the big blockbuster movies with the huge movie stars and the huge budgets, this is a model that is 100% built around movie theaters like AMC. And this is, I think, another reason why a lot of these companies are realizing, oh man, you know, everybody's trying to come out with streaming platforms. Everybody's trying to adapt to these new business models and things like that. And I think some of these companies, especially a lot of these big movie theater companies, are just realizing, man, this is a lot dang harder than it looks. Let's just put it that way. Not everybody can be Netflix. Not all these different movie companies, they all can't be Netflix. Just like if you're trying to compete against Netflix directly, good luck. They've been doing this for 100 years, man. This is their territory now. So, you know, I think a lot of these big companies in Hollywood are going to rethink and be like, man, yeah, I think we kind of need AMC. I think we need these big movie theaters because the fact is it changes the experience and it changes the perception of the movies. It's human psychology, okay? So there's that component, okay? Now, I think there's a huge pent-up demand for a lot of different things, okay? I was really thinking about this. You know, like travel, obviously is the obvious one, right? A lot of people have delayed trips over the past year or so because they can't go anywhere, or if they can go somewhere, they don't want to go somewhere, right? There's the whole like, if you go somewhere, you got to be like quarantined for 2 weeks before and 2 weeks and after. It's just a mess, right? It's just a complete mess, okay? Concerts. I mean, you know, the amount of people that love to go to concerts and haven't been able to go to concerts over the past year, I mean, that's just got to be a killer, okay? Movies, obviously, there's tons of folks that love, you know, going to the movies and experiencing that and things like that. Some people go and see like so many different movies, it's crazy, okay? I'm one of those people, I might go to the movie theater like once or twice a year. Other people, my goodness, they're there almost every single week seeing something, okay? Bars, sporting events, anything in those categories, all the stuff we took for granted before Rona, anything where you're getting together with a lot of other people, everybody took those things for granted in the past. And I just see a huge pent-up demand for that moving forward, especially as we get into the summertime and the fall time. And I think anything that's in those categories is really going to thrive, especially as we go into 2022. And so I can even see a scenario, I was thinking about this, I can even see scenarios around like, you know, going to the movies where people are going out of their way to go to the movies, not just because they really want to see a movie so dang bad, but just because they're like, oh my gosh, we can finally go to the movies again and enjoy ourselves and watch it without a mask on and like see an actual big movie. Oh, let's go see this movie with the kids or something like that. I can definitely see that. And so anything that's in those categories is gonna do really dang well as we, you know, get further away from the mask and all these sorts of things where you can't be in big groups and everything like that, okay? So huge pent-up demand. That should boost AMC's numbers huge, okay? And Amazon, okay? There's some rumors. There are rumors. There's none of this is confirmed, but there are rumors that maybe Amazon could be interested in potentially, you know, buying out AMC. We'd have to see if something like that is realistic. I wouldn't be surprised that Amazon wouldn't be interested in it. I'll be honest, I was thinking about it and I was like, I could see that as a play. I really could see that as a play because remember, Amazon is trying to get more and more into the movie business, okay? And so they're trying to make this move more and more into like getting into theaters. And I remember like whenever the last time I was at the movies, which was like 100 years ago now, but I remember there was like a movie or two that they showed on the previews while I was waiting for that other movie that were Amazon movies. And I was like, wow, Amazon's really trying to take this stuff serious. And so, could Amazon potentially buy out AMC so they can, give maybe preferential treatment to their movies and advertising to their movies and integrate different things inside. So there's so many different possibilities with a company like AMC that has unlimited budgets and has unlimited tech behind it. And, they just need a huge retail presence. And Amazon could build a bunch of their own movie theaters if they wanted, but that wouldn't make much financial sense at all. It actually makes much more sense to pick up a company like AMC that's well known out there on the cheap, that knows how to run that business, and then use that as a platform to hopefully bolster, your business, okay? So who knows what's going to happen with all that. However, I will say, it kind of actually makes sense when you really pay attention to what Amazon's been doing and the moves they've been making for the past several years. And making a move like this, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Amazon loves to acquire companies. I think some people think like it's just Amazon just like running their own like e-commerce business or something like that. Like they buy businesses all the time. They bought Twitch, they bought Whole Foods, they bought Zappos, they bought so many different companies over time. It's ridiculous. And they haven't made a big buy in a while. And AMC, oh my gosh, they can make that buy out in a second. That's not even a big amount of money. It's like them buying a bag of potato chips. Like, give me a break, okay? Now, market capitalization wise, as of today at least, it was trading under $2 billion, okay? Never mind if it starts to fall to some of these prices. We're talking it could fall to 1.5 billion, 1 billion. Those are silly prices, okay? Just silly. I think 2 billion for the company is pretty attractive when I look at all the money they've raised and I look at, the pent-up demand I see there. I'm thinking 2 billion is pretty good, but never mind if it falls to 1.5 billion, 1 billion, something like that. Because here's the thing, okay? Let's say in 2022, the company does $100 million of net income. I think that's very, very possible. Remember, 2022 should be a huge year back for the movie theater business, right? You're gonna have a ton of likely big movies that have been postponed, basically coming out that year and things like that. We'll even start to see a decent comeback, in my opinion, in the back half of 21 this year. But I think 22 is that year where things start to go really good. It's hard for me not to imagine that AMC pulls in at least $100 million of net income in 2022. I mean, geez, how many overpriced popcorns do you have to sell to really make $100 million net income? It's not very many, okay? So I'm looking at the numbers and I'm thinking that's definitely a very realistic possibility. If the company's at $2 billion market cap and $100 million of net income is done in 2022, it's basically a 20 PE for 2022 earnings, okay? That's not that dang high, okay? And I feel like that's worst case scenario. I truly do. I feel like that is worst case scenario for this company. I think it is very possible this company, best case scenario, does $400 million of net income in 2022. If that is a case, on a $2 billion market capitalization, that is a 5 PE based upon 2022 earnings in my best case scenario there, okay? Now, is it gonna come in a worst case scenario or best case scenario? Well, it's probably gonna come in somewhere in between there. So maybe it's 200 million, maybe it's 300 million. But regardless, if you're looking at the market capitalization of this company right now, and they're doing those type of numbers in, let's say, basically a year and a half from now or so, that's pretty dang epic, okay? That's pretty dang epic, and that would allow the company to pay down a lot of debt and obviously give even more confirmation that their business model can be around long term. And never mind this, if they can pull a profit in 4Q of 2021, I think that's such an important quarter because that's their first quarter that they could have any realistic possibility, in my personal opinion, of pulling a profit. If they were to pull a profit in 4Q 2021, I mean, that would be massive for the stock. I think a lot of folks would look at this stock as, oh, the movie theater business can actually survive. It's actually going to be here, and they made a profit. It's one thing if they're still burning money in 4Q of 2021, but if they're actually making money on the bottom line, that completely switches the investor philosophy around this company and the belief in this company. And so when I look at it from that perspective, I'm like, this is actually a really, really interesting spec stock play. And especially if it falls more, which with those big sellers in the market is definitely a possibility because they have been putting some big selling pressure on this stock. And so I am this is like the number one stock I'm actually tracking at the moment, okay? Pfizer is also one I'm pretty interested in, but this is the number one stock I'm actually tracking right now. And this is the number one stock I will be looking at a stock price tomorrow to see what is going on with this stock price tomorrow. This is the #1 stock I have on my stock tracker app, and I'm trying to see, is it going to hit anywhere even close to this first initial price? If it does, I will gladly be a buyer tomorrow. If it doesn't, I will wait and I will see, because I do know there's definitely a lot of selling pressure around this stock. And so, yeah, it's interesting for me as a spec play. Can I make a huge investment in this of hundreds of thousands of dollars or $1 million? No, it's not that type of stock for me. But could I put tens of thousands of dollars in this as a spec play? For me, I'm interested. I'm very, very interested, because I think there's actually some good money to be made here, especially if things continue to turn and the stock price continues to go lower. So that's my personal opinion on AMC stock. Hope you guys enjoyed this as always. Don't forget to leave me a comment if you own the stock or you're thinking about buying the stock and what price you're thinking about buying it. And if you want to join the Stock Hub, that's absolutely free. It's linked in the description. If you want to apply for my private stock group, that's linked in the description as well. Thank you for watching and have a great day.